Welcome, everybody, to the Daily High with your hosts, Matt McGregor and Tone Bays. Good morning, Tone. How are you, mate?
Morning. Very good. Very good. Had a nice weekend, and I'm still here in Panama, and I'm back to heading back to the US for Thanksgiving.
That's fantastic. When is Thanksgiving? This Friday coming? No, this
That's
Sunday.
gonna be on Thursday, coming up
Thursday.
on Thursday. But
Of
I
course.
hate like the day before Thanksgiving is the worst travel day, so I tend to get in the country a day early.
That's great. Markets closed this on Thanksgiving this week.
Yeah, so markets are closed on Thursday, and then markets are open half day on Friday, which is kind of stupid. And no one actually trades on Wednesday. So this is, other
Mm.
than Christmas, this is probably
Mm.
the least like the least volume week of the year.
Be interesting to see how Bitcoin deals with that as well. Just a heads up, guys. I've got the worst headache I've ever had in my life. And Tone doesn't like it when I show any weakness, but I'm just going to go through my little bit and then I'm going to have to bid you adieu and let Tone run through it without me. It's just, I've got all the lights turned down here. It's just killing me. So let's get straight into it without any further ado. All right. Look, I closed out my trade at 97,864 on this gray line right here. I don't know if you can see it. Yep, that gray line on just for the last minute of the show we did on Friday. And we'll go into the lower time frames. It is the price has been above and below that throughout the period, but I'm pretty satisfied with that close that I made there so far. It was quite a good trade. So I'm going to delete this blue line right now. Um, Look, I mean, Tone, you're the MRI top is the big fantastic call, and I think that you got it almost to the point, the dollar, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on that. Hopefully, my headache sort of goes away a little bit, and I can hear what you have to say, what your thinking was behind it, because that was a real ballsy trade. You stuck with your guns, but you also like the price recovered a lot more. You got a better exit than I got, and I think that would have been a real bit of a freaky exit. Just get like the fact that we were that close to pushing $100,000 again when you called that trade. Brilliant, brilliant, absolutely masterstroke. So I can't wait to hear you go through that. But look, I'm going to leave this gray line in where it is right now, where I did close my trade out because, and until we're above that line this week, anyway, I'm not interested in going in again. Now, I say that a bit tongue in cheek because I have actually put on two trades since then that did go into profit and then stopped out at just above break even. But I'm not going to play that game again. I'm either going to buy at a lot lower. Let's just say for right now, I'm saying like in this 80 zone, or I'm going to wait for it to recapture that gray line where I pulled my trade because I can put the same size trade on now with like 1.5x leverage because of how well I've been trading. So I might end up putting it back on a 5 or 10x and putting a big banging trade on from that period. But I'm not looking at buying every little bit in between there. We'll see how that plays out. The EXA is on the weekly time frame real concerning for me that if this thing crosses over after this sensational run, and we were talking about this live on air all those many weeks ago, this coincided pretty well with one of the the six things that I was looking at that I've absolutely whipped the dead horse about from that purple phantom indicator and everything else. That EXA where that hit there was just brilliant, and this is the other side of that coin, right? I mean, that's here. That's here. Like this is we're almost as high as that right now. So let's see if we're at that three. Yeah, look, we're almost as high as that. This is very, very similar. That what that looks like there to what that looks like there in terms of straight up. And what happened at that point in time was, yeah, look, I expected something more in terms of downside. Doesn't look like much there, but in terms of downside, it's not that bad. But you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks before it recaptured really and started to kick on the move. think about how painful that would be right now to get 8 weeks of sideways consolidation. I don't think that's likely. I think it either goes down and then recovers or continues to just blow through it and goes up higher. But that's it's not, that's what we're looking at here. It crossed over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It went way down. It took to here. That was the huge big consolidation for months that we had before it decided to kick on again. And it's the EXA is on that teetering point right now. The other oscillators don't look as threatening at all, but it's something to look at, that's for sure. How many days we got left in this month, Tone? Can't, it's 25th today, so we've still got a few. We'll push onto that a little bit later in the week.
Yeah,
Let's
you just
go.
got 5 days. It's a 30-day month.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. 3 day time frame. Nothing too much there. The EXA has crossed at that point on the 3 day time frame. I don't mind anything there on the 3 day time frame. The daily is interesting because right now we are really, really still fantastically positioned above every single moving average. There's nothing to concern about here on it's just purely charts on looking at alphanumerics. But if we close this day below that 7 simple moving average, which we really respected for a really long time now it is possible that we can come back down lower. I just don't want to make any huge speculation that we're going to come way down lower just because we've had a couple of off days. We're 4 days off the highest daily close of all time. So I'm definitely not looking at this as that negative. It could be at 100K in the next 35 minutes. Not a big deal. But the weekly, it looks a lot more interesting to me. But you can see this. I would definitely be interested again. $1,000 higher than this, $800 higher than this, and then especially when if we started breaking through here again with strength, I'd be really excited. So my point to get back excited again really isn't that far away from the current price. Let's go down to like a lower period, 4 hour time frame, and just have a look at how choppy this has been. So I closed the trade out it was right here, and then we did come back right up, and that's I think where Tone closed the trade out, and then it worked its way back down below and up and way below, and then above it again, and I took this trade here and got out about here. I took this trade here that went all the way up and got out again here. It was not a bad trade, but now it's I don't know. I don't know. It looks quite poor on the 4 hour time frame just because of that MRI top, I think. It is by the dip zone if we start to crack on down and get back inside the 80s and stuff like that. But it's a bit knife catchy. I don't have too much on. I'm almost thinking that a retracement back inside the green wave on the 4 hour time frame is a possibility, which is down at 80. God, Tone, my head is absolutely aching, mate. I don't even know if I'm making sense anymore. So I'm just going to go through this really quickly. We've got great promotions here with Blowfin. This finishes at the end of the month, so please definitely take advantage of that. And as always, if you want to use coin margin trading with the bots, absolutely go to BitGet. It's all the links in the description below. Really, really fantastic exchange. I'm coming back to you right now, Tone. Join the Discord group, guys. It's the best Discord group, I think, on the internet. Totally free. Great trading bots available. We've got massive upgrades coming at the end of this week. Today, implemented was the take profits. So now we have take profits and we'll have all the new features coming. I'm sorry, guys. My head's a mess. Tone, I'm going to just wait. If you could just go into what made you close that trade out, and then I'll sneak off. I really want to hear what you have to say. And I apologize, guys. My analysis today is pretty poor. Sorry.
All right, so I'm gonna go right into my exit on the trade. Actually, you got a slightly better exit than me, Matt.
Well, did I?
So the moment we ended the show, I just ended up realizing like I wanted to wait for the 10 a.m. reversal. I wanted to get out on a rebound off the 10 a.m. reversal. But the thing is, I had to go to the airport. And I didn't know like it was Miami. Things are hectic. There was traffic. I didn't know if I would get a chance to really open up my computer and properly So that wouldn't give me a chance to exit at the end of the day.
I don't want to cut
So
you. I don't want to cut you off, mate. I don't know if you're freezing. Up. Can you just check in the chat if you're freezing or if it's me
uh,
frozen up?
fuck, it might be my internet cutting in and out. What'd you say?
You have been freezing up slightly. What does the chat say? Is tone been freezing or is it on my end?
I'm freezing up a bit. I'm having a little bit of an internet issue, but
Yeah.
I didn't get as good of an exit as I wanted. You still there?
Yeah, you froze up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Tone.
get off. Maybe it'll help if I'm not on here. And
No, no. I doubt it. Maybe I can go to my cell phone. Let me switch Wi-Fi connections to my cell phone. Let me turn on a hotspot here.
all right. While you're
Um,
doing that, I'll tap dance. I got the lights off now, guys, because my eyes. The price of Bitcoin is falling pretty quickly right now, which is really interesting. If it gets below that 95,700 there, it'll be very interesting for a push lower, I think. But if it can hold it up as a higher low, just looking at that there, it's a bit. It could be a good buy. But that's where I like. That's
right.
how I like to trade, looking at that for those high low structures there. But I wouldn't touch this.
Okay, so let me get back to what happened, right? So the moment you and I got off the stream on Friday, it was almost 10 a.m. It was like the market had just started trading. It was around 9:40 a.m. And I didn't want to risk it. I had to pack for the airport. I had to go to the airport at like 10:30. I had a flight at around noon, and I just didn't know if I was going to get stuck in line or anything. So I didn't want to risk it. I really wanted to wait for the 10 a.m. reversal. Had I been in front of the computer all day on Friday, I promise you I would have been exiting like probably in the $99,000 range. I would have waited for this massive candle, and then I would have waited for some weakness, and I probably would have exited around here, around 1 p.m. Maybe even on this 2 p.m. candle because I hate holding past 2 p.m. So I would have exited somewhere over here above 99 or right at 99 for the most epic exit possible. But I ended up exiting at exactly 97,800, probably 10 minutes after our call, or like within a half an hour after our call, just because I didn't know if I would be near the computer the rest of the day. So anyone can make fun of my exit, 97.8. I was happy with it, and I'm definitely happy with it now. I can go through a dozen reasons as to why I did that, there's one reason why I did it, and there is only one reason, and that reason is everyone and their mother and their grandmother thinks we're breaking 100,000, and I will always take the opposite side of that trade. Always. I have never seen this many people on a one-sided trade. I don't care if Michael Saylor is promising to buy $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin, right? There are promises, there are words, and there are actions. It's very possible he's already has that Bitcoin in commitment. He already has a forward contract. It's possible that that Bitcoin will not affect the market. It's also possible Michael Saylor is a little smarter than you, and when he sees this pullback, he's going to wait and buy it in the 80s. Okay. There are 100 ways this guarantee that Michael Saylor is going to push the price over 100K today is going to go bad for you. And it's already going bad. So here's my plan now. Basically, here's what is happening. I know Matt's struggling over there. The daily chart is absolutely flipping over. We need a brand new high. Basically, we need to close above where we closed last Thursday on the 21st. We need to close above $98,500 to maintain the bullish MRI count. And guess what? If we do maintain that bullish MRI count, that means that on Tuesday is another MRI top. So that is another selling opportunity. The market is screaming at you to get out. So there was another really good question in my private Telegram group when someone said, Tone, don't you always say if you have too many chances to exit at the top, well, like it's a consolidation, and that's not good. So tops are a little different, okay? Markets are a little friendlier to you at the tops to exit than they are at the bottom when it's time to buy the dip, because it's the same fear and greed, okay? So when markets consolidate at the top, yes, I consider it bullish, but there are stages, right? When a market like just immediately crashes, right? If you have very little time to sell at the top, that's the top. If you have a little extra time to sell at the top, it's probably going to keep going higher. When you have a little extra time to sell at the top, it's probably at top. The market is shrinking you. It's only when that consolidation gets unreasonably long, that's when you can go full blown bullish. Okay. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 day consolidation. Okay. This was a 3 day consolidation. The market was telegraphing for you to be careful here. I still think the 100,000 round number is too difficult to break on first shot. And I'm happy to buy back in the 80s. I think a reasonable time to consider rebuying is in the very low 90s. We're talking 90,000, somewhere below 91,500. So very low 90,000 at this moving average. Very possible we're going into the 80s here. I really like my exit. It would have been absolutely better. I would have exited in 99s for sure if I did not have to play it safe and just go, because I had to go to the airport. And so where are we here? The monthly chart looks very bullish. The weekly chart is on a 1 to 4 week correction. Guys, I'm not expecting this to go all the way into the 60s, okay? Is it possible that it will go into the low 70s? Yeah, it's possible. When am I going to start looking to buy back in? I will start looking to buy back in under 2 conditions. One, we get a dip below 90,000 or right at 90,000. If this dip coincides with an MRI buy, the price matters less, okay? If it's an MRI buy opportunity, and that MRI buy opportunity comes late next week at a price of only 94,000 because we go down very slowly, I'll take it, okay? I'm ready to buy an MRI arrow, no matter what price it's at on a daily scale. I'm also ready to time along without the MRI buy anywhere below 90,000. Below 90,000, I don't need an MRI buy. It would be nice if I have one, but I don't need it. Also, this week, I am not buying Bitcoin. I don't care how high Bitcoin goes this week. Bitcoin can go to $250,000 this week. I am not buying it. This is not the week that I'm buying Bitcoin. So there's nothing price can do this week for me to buy. It's a holiday week. It's the week following an MRI candle. And the daily pretty much just topped as well. There's nothing this week that would turn my cash portfolio in my retirement account into longs. There are a couple of things I can still do. For example, I can sell put contracts. That I might do, okay? I may sell some put contracts. Selling a put contract is basically a covered call, okay? I sell put contracts at a price that I want to buy Bitcoin at. And then if it crashes to that price, someone will force me to buy those Bitcoin at that price, okay? So there are things I might do, but I will not be long Bitcoin this week, okay? Next week is very possible for me to go long, because next week can give me a green star candle on a weekly. It would have resolved the overbought conditions from both the daily and the weekly charts. And right now we're sitting below 96,000. Wow, did we just crash $1,000 super quickly?
Yeah.
This is a 1 hour chart. And in this hour, we are down over $1,000. So shit, we're down $2,000 in this hour. God damn. And here's the 15-minute chart. And yeah, we've been trading. This is market open. And oh, that's not good, guys. That's not good. So, and we're breaking below the swing low. We are now sitting at, if this hour closes at a new swing low, that will be the lowest hourly close since November 20th. That's 5 days. That is nothing to sneeze at here. And where is the most reasonable buy the dip? The most reasonable buy the dip is the best fit line touching the max number of candles without breaking any of their bodies. That line is at exactly $91,000. 91,000. That would also meet up with the moving average. And that is the lowest level. I will buy this dip, but it's probably unlikely because if we're hitting that area without an MRI buy opportunity, at least on a 4 hour, maybe a 4 hour MRI buy at that zone will allow me to buy that dip, but I'm going to stay patient. And I'm definitely not buying this week. I already made that clear. I will not go long this week for any reason. It has to be next week. What's up, Matt?
Tom, would you rather it happen? Let's just say we use 91 as an example, that 88 to 91, somewhere in that zone. Would you prefer it happen very fast with a nice V-shaped bottom recovery or in consolidation? Or I know you said, I know you care more about the MRI.
Consolidation,
Yeah.
100% consolidation. I would rather it get to 91 as slow as possible because I'm not buying this week, right? If it crashes to 91 tomorrow and then by Wednesday evening it recovers back to 98, I have a problem. What do I do, right? I want this pullback to happen as slow as possible because most people have already missed their exit. So at this point, if we stop crashing and we don't go above 96 and we just hang in there for a slow bleed from 96,000 to 91, ain't nobody getting out. Nobody, right? Like those that were going to get out have already got out, or they're going to get out in the next hour. After that, you're you're going to be keep making excuses as to why it's about to turn around. No one is getting out on the slow bleed. Okay. So I would rather see the slow bleed frustrate the shit out of people and then have them all get out, the first or second week of December when it's breaking 99,000, 89,000, 88,000, and that's what I'm buying.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what the EXA, what I showed on the EXA, that's what that could be a possibility of like an 8 week bullshit to come, you know?
Look, I'm so invested in being right in my call to sell at 98, 99,000, but I also don't want to see a crash, right?
Right.
Because this is just my trading position. I want to be right and buy the dip no lower than 85. Below 85, it starts to get a little shitty. Man, honestly, if 91 doesn't give you a buy opportunity, there's really no support until you get to 73. And that's kind of crappy, right? This is the problem with going straight up. There's no support between 91 and 73. It's possible Bitcoin will find support. You do have a moving average and you do have an MRI potential buy, whether daily or weekly. So there are going to be opportunities in between, but as far as, you know, horizontal and trend lines, horizontal or, slanted trend lines, there's no support between 73 and 91. So you got to use other metrics. And my favorite metrics are a combination of horizontal support and other metrics. And I will not have any horizontal support between 73 and 91. So I have to rely on only other metrics. And you know what metrics I'm not relying on? What Michael Saylor fucking says on TV.
Well, that's why I'll be using alphanumetrics, links in the description below, to look for green diamonds. While we're in a bull market, while the wave is green, let's just say we were able to eke out a green diamond inside a green wave on a 4 hour time frame, or God forbid, a daily green diamond while the wave is green in a rampant bull market, I'd be looking for great buys off things like that. So definitely we'll be talking about that as if that comes to fruition.
All right, guys, I don't have much else to add. Markets are open on a Monday. The ETFs purchased another 5,000 Bitcoin the other day on Friday. And yeah, BlackRock is almost at 500,000 Bitcoin. I think they'll get there by probably next month. Maybe even this month they'll get there. So we'll see how that goes. Gold is rallying back up. I'm back to being bullish on gold, but let me see how it opened this morning. It's pulling back a bit. I do think gold has found the bottom. Bitcoin is pulling back now. They've been a little bit backwards. By the way, I'm now seeing more and more people flipping from Bitcoin to gold and vice versa. So I can see gold and Bitcoin having an inverse relationship starting now. Now, once Bitcoin is over 100K, people are like, hey, I can just sell one Bitcoin, buy a kilo of gold and hold on to that kilo of gold because it'll retain its value instead of cash in the bank. So I think the Bitcoin gold trade is a physical gold. Bitcoin to physical gold trade is about to start taking shape.
That would be
So
really
I can see them having a bit of an inverse relationship.
it'll be really interesting too because people might use that, as you say, inversely. So in a terrible bear market for a Bitcoin, it'll become exacerbated by people flooding into gold, which will kick that off. And then they'll go risk on from gold back into Bitcoin when Bitcoin turns to a bull market. It could be an interesting play.
Very surprised that the stock market just hit a new all-time high this morning with Bitcoin down. I would have assumed the market was crashing, but it's not. So that's another interesting thing. Again, it shows me that Bitcoin is taking on a life of its own. Guys, I have another reason why Bitcoin topped. Wow, look at that perfect MRI top on a 4 hour. Yes, we had some weird rally back here on Friday afternoon. Sometimes shit happens. I stuck to my conviction that I needed to get out. I'm a little surprised it rallied that much of the 10 a.m. reversal, but beautiful MRI call on the 4 hour chart. And what was I gonna say, guys? There was nobody left to buy Bitcoin. There was nobody left. It's only Michael Saylor. And honestly, even if Michael Saylor does buy a $3 billion Bitcoin position, if he's the only buyer left and there's nobody left to buy because everyone was already in, it's not enough to push the market higher. It is just not enough. And professionals are going to wait for the dip to play out. It was just time for Bitcoin to pop. And yeah, I'm happy I got out. And look, the market could still prove me wrong tomorrow, but I'm not going long this week. I'm gonna stay in cash, and I'll sleep just fine at night. All right. On this note, it's time to wrap it up.
What was that moving average there on the 4 hour time frame? Was that 30 or something? Was that
That one right there, that's got to be the 50.
50? Is it?
Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 50.
So funny. Moving averages are amazing. They can just hit to the dollar and just respond. So I love them.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining.
All right. Thanks, guys. Please like, subscribe, and we will see you all tomorrow. I have a flight early in the morning, dude. I don't know if there'll be a show tomorrow, maybe from the airport, and we'll see. So we'll play it by